Hi, everyone. Good Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan. I hope you all are doing good today. We have a lot to talk about on Tropical Storm Milton. The latest advisory with a new track just came out from the National Hurricane Center. And here's what's going on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery here. It is looking better defined. You could see a cluster of storms trying to circulate around the core of this system. So that is a sign of strengthening. We are seeing a pulse of energy that is moving over central Florida ahead of Milton. That's why many of us are seeing soaking rain already across central Florida. Now, here's the latest track. It has strengthened since the last update. Now we have winds of 65 miles per hour. It has picked up speed slightly. Now it's moving to the east-southeast at 6 miles per hour, and it is expected to become a Category 1 hurricane later on today with winds of 75 miles per hour. As it continues its journey across the Gulf of Mexico, moving across extremely warm water. Last check, the sea surface temperatures across the Gulf of Mexico, it exceeds 79 degrees. Again, the sea surface temperatures has to be at least 79 degrees for a tropical system to sustain itself. Last checked, it's at 87 degrees. So that is very warm water. As we fast forward things here into Monday morning, we're looking at a Category 2 hurricane, and this will be a slow-moving storm. So it's going to have a lot of time to gain strength, get better organized, and then by Monday afternoon, we are looking at a major Category 3 hurricane. So we are expecting this thing to rapidly intensify. And this track, the latest information does show it strengthening faster again than the last information. So as we fast forward things, as we go through Tuesday into early Wednesday morning, it looks like it's going to hold on to its Category 3 strength by Tuesday night. It's packing winds of 125 miles per hour. That is 5 miles under becoming a Category 4 hurricane. Again, Category 4 hurricane sustained winds is 130 miles per hour. As we get into Wednesday morning around midday, I would say, or early Wednesday afternoon, an expected landfall as a major Category 3 hurricane is possible. Category 4 is not out of the question, but again, the National Hurricane Center are showing a Category 3 storm somewhere between Perry all the way down to Cape Coral. So if you live in those areas, the Tampa Bay area, St. Petersburg, and Naples, all of these coastal spots need to pay attention to this system as it evolves, because the cone of uncertainty is just for the center of the system, and this is just forecasting the center. Impacts will be felt well outside of the center of the system. It can jog to the north, it can jog to the south. Depending on where the center is where we'll see the greatest impacts. For us here across central Florida, we will certainly see tropical impacts, including damaging winds. We could potentially see Category 1 hurricane force winds between 74 to 110 miles per hour. Heavy rainfall, already beginning to see rain across central Florida, and then adding more rain to that, tropical downpours, we could see significant flooding in many low-lying areas, and that can extend to our coastal spots. Taking a look at the tropical models here, pretty good consensus showing where the center could go, and a lot of them are honing in towards Tarpon Springs, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, even Port Charlotte. So again, these areas really need to pay attention to the forecast, but many of these models taking it through our region, central Florida, again, as a hurricane as we go through our Wednesday. Now, as we take a look at some projected scenarios here, now the worst impacts if it takes path 1, the center of the system going directly over Tampa, and Tampa already they're dealing with significant flooding due to Helene that happened a week ago or so. So unfortunately, this storm will affect them in some way. And then as we look at central Florida, we're looking at hurricane force winds, as I mentioned, heavy tropical rain, and also there is the threat for isolated tornadoes. Once again, we always tell you all, when we have tropical systems, there's a lot of spinning in the atmosphere. So when that happens, we could see weak tornadoes at EF0, EF1 at best, touch down, and that can cause some damage. Now, with path 2, if the center of this system takes more of a southern trend, we're looking at potential landfall between Bradenton and also Port Charlotte, around that general area, and we'll be on the northern fringe of this system. So we're still seeing impacts, damaging winds, not as strong though, but still damaging winds and heavy rainfall. And the primary threat for us here in Central Florida, and this is for everyone, we are looking at that heavy tropical rain, and we're going to see the rain in a very short period of time, and that can cause issues. We could see ponding, flooding, and just make sure, again, if you haven't gotten your preps done yet, I have a little storm line here for you. So today, Sunday, get your preps done. Even though it's raining outside, the weather isn't awful. You can get out there, get what you need done. Water, make sure you're stocked up. Charge your batteries, charge those tablets for your kids, and also just make sure you have all your medications, everything together, and be prepared for power outages, again, just in case if that happens in your area. Now, flood watches are active for everyone except Marion County for now, and I do think tropical watches will be issued later on today or early tomorrow morning. Now, jumping ahead to Tuesday, that's when we'll really begin to see our weather here across Central Florida deteriorate. So those outer rain bands are expected to begin to push in. We could see some rotation. We could see some heavy rain, and it is going to be windy. On Wednesday will be the big event. Landfall is expected around either midday or early Wednesday afternoon as of right now, and that's when we'll see the greatest impact. So again, if you're now tuning in, when we're talking about greatest impacts, we're looking at category 1 or 2 hurricane force winds. So that is between 74 miles per hour to 110 miles per hour, and that can certainly cause a lot of damage. The heavy rainfall threat and also the threat for localized flooding here. So here is another graphic showing the potential impacts. I have winds, rain, flooding right at that high threshold, and then tornadoes at a medium threshold. So we are looking at all modes of potential threats across Central Florida as we head into Tuesday night and really through the entire day on Wednesday. So just here's a few tips, a few storm preparations, what to focus on if you haven't done these things yet. Clear your storm drains. It's very helpful, especially to your neighbors. Clear your storm drains, clear your gutters, and also prepare for power outages. Charge everything, and then continue to monitor tropical updates. We, of course, are here. We're keeping an eye on things. We're keeping an eye on all the trends. And as soon as the information is available to us, when we know, you know. And if you haven't downloaded our app yet, now is a great time to download our app. It is new and improved, and we're the ones that update it. So we're constantly updating your Pinpoint Weather team, always updating your apps. So that's your Pinpoint Weather app and your Hurricane app, and also the News app, News 6 Plus app. We got you covered with that too. I see a few questions are coming in right now. See, Lake County's there. All right. Hi, Lake County. When is it going into Kissimmee? Will it be a Cat 1? I do think that this system will sustain itself for a little bit. So it's possible that it could be a Category 2 hurricane as it makes itself comes inland and then slowly weakening into a Cat 2. Nonetheless, it's the rain is going to be the main issue, where we could see the flooding rain across Central Florida and then those strong winds. All righty. Let's see here. Charles. Hey, Charles. Good morning. Maybe still a 2. Okay. Great advice there. Get your preps done. That's what we want to see. Yep, the 11 a.m. was just released. That's right. Polk County. Hey, Polk County. Thank you so much for joining. Nacha. Okay, so this is what's going on. You will also feel some impacts in your area. We're talking about strong winds between 74 to even 110 miles per hour for you. And that heavy rain. Already seeing some showers across your area. So you want to prepare for that. And then as the system gets closer and closer, a lot of spinning is going to be happening in the atmosphere. There's the threat for tornadoes. I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado watch is issued as early as Tuesday. Of course, we'll be watching that and letting you guys know when everything is issued. But here is the setup. This is what I'm talking about. You're looking at the current sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico. Even though we had Helene move through the eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, there's still a ton of oceanic heat content for this system to get going. Usually storms need 79 degrees or warmer in order to sustain itself, to intensify, to get stronger. But the sea surface temperatures are nearing 90. That is insane how warm the water is. So plenty of fuel for the system to rapidly intensify. And also there's not a whole lot of wind shear to help break this thing apart. So it is going to continue to organize as we go through the next several days. So let's talk about storm surge. Tampa, St. Petersburg, Palm Harbor, Bradenton, all of those spots could potentially see between 6 to 9 feet. And this can go up, guys, like as this system gets closer and closer to us, depending on the intensity of this system, that can certainly go up. And I've seen the videos, many locations across the West Florida, they're still trying to recover from Helene. So it's a very unfortunate event for those spots. As we take a look at our East Coast here, so we're talking about Flagler Beach, Palm Coast, the Daytona Beach, all the way down to Edgewater, right in the Bay in Titusville, Merritt Island, you could potentially see up to 3 feet of storm surge, and that can definitely cause some damage. We could see beach erosion, and especially with the water pushed up in your area, some flooding, certainly possible, especially with the heavy rain combined with the storm surge. So if you live in those areas, know your risk level and really just know what could potentially happen. Make sure you're getting those sandbags in place, everything you need to do to protect yourself, your family, and your property. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few models here. You're looking at the GFS model. I forgot to mention there's also a cold front that's going to be moving into our area. That is the steering current, what is steering Tropical Milton right into us. It's going to be great weather for Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi because of that frontal boundary. But for us, it is going to direct Milton right into Florida as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So the GFS is showing higher rain totals for parts of Osceola County. Ocala could get potentially up to 10 inches. Palm Coast, same deal. So again, the higher rain totals focused on our northern counties. So Marion, parts of Sumter, Lake, Flagler County, and Volusia counties. And you can see the lesser amounts between, I would say, 2 to even 4 or 5 inches for Osceola County, Brevard County, and parts of Orange County, Seminole County, even Polk County. That's what the GFS is suggesting. Now, as we take a look at the European model, paints a different picture, right? So it's really showing that cold front sagging a little bit like in a southern trend. So that is going to direct the heavy tropical rain over our central counties. So we're looking at Sumter, Lake, Orange, Seminole County, even parts of Brevard County, getting up to 6-7+ inches. So all you need to know is that significant rainfall is in the forecast for all of us across Central Florida, and everybody needs to be prepared for that, just in case if you're picking up that much rain in such a little bit of time. Go ahead and looking at the questions right now. Hey, Elijah, what about Orlando? So the worst of the weather for Orlando will be Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon. We are expecting landfall as of the latest information early Wednesday afternoon. And if the center of the system goes through the metro area, we're looking at Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane force winds. So that's between 74 to 110 miles per hour. So that's damaging winds. And then on top of the heavy tropical rain, and also there's the threat for tornadoes, a few spin-ups. But usually with tropical systems, the tornadoes are fairly weak because the system is moving so fast. So EF0 or EF1 possible, but nonetheless be prepared for that. Just make sure that you are weather aware Tuesday through Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Alrighty, Highlands, Puebla, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, same deal for you. Strong winds between 74 to even 100 miles per hour, damaging winds. Heavy rainfall could pick up to 5+ inches in your area. And then the threat for tornadoes as well. DeLand. Oh, hey, DeLand. Yeah, same deal for you. Again, but the threat will be more of a Wednesday, late Wednesday afternoon for you all out in the land as that system continues to pull to the east. And also, this is a rare system. I didn't mention that because usually with tropical systems, they move from west or from east to west. With this system, it's moving from west to east. So this is a very rare to see as it continues to get closer to the state of Florida. So, okay, carbon fiber. Hey, good morning. These severe impacts can happen far inland as Helene. Absolutely. I tell everyone this all the time. Honestly, with category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, obviously category 4 or 5 are significant storms. But even if a storm breaks apart heading inland, it is packing so much tropical moisture and it can dump a ton of rain in a short period of time and cause flooding to areas that don't even see a whole lot of rain and they don't even know how to deal with the flooding. And we clearly saw that with Helene. But the projected path with this system here, Milton, as of right now, it looks like it's going to cross Florida and then go into the Atlantic. So we'll have to see if it'll curve or not. But as of the latest path, it shows it going straight into the Atlantic side. Alrighty, Florida man. Hi, thank you so much for joining. With the latest spaghetti models, are they now pushing the storm slightly south with the majority consensus tracks compared to earlier tracks? Yes. So as of the latest tracks, they are showing a slight, very slight. But of course, the slightest jog to the north or south can cause different impacts. So the latest information is showing a slight jog to the south, but nonetheless, we're still going to feel great impacts across central Florida. Elijah. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, ask your questions. It's my pleasure to answer all of your questions. But jumping ahead here, taking a look at the radar. Yeah, we're tracking some light to moderate rain falling across central Florida. There are a few breaks. But again, as I said, the weather is not awful. We're used to this type of rain across our area. We're looking at soaking rain across Palm Coast. It's been raining heavily in Flagler County since this morning. Since I've been on at 5 o'clock this morning, it has been pouring in your area. So already picking up significant rainfall at the moment ahead of Milton. Looking at light to moderate rain across Osceola County and Brevard County close to Satellite Beach, and light showers across the villages as well as Ocala, Mascot seeing some sprinkles, and Claremont, Apopka seeing some sprinkles at the moment. Really along the I-4 corridor seeing some light showers. So again, we are dealing with some tropical moisture, but this has nothing to do with Milton. So here's the flood watch I wanted to show you here. You can see all of our counties are highlighted, excluding Marion County. And we do have a flood warning in effect for parts of Flagler County due to the rising rivers. We have the river out in St. John's under a flood warning as well because of the expected rise in the rivers due to all of the rain that we're getting today. We'll get tomorrow, and then we're expecting tropical impacts Tuesday, Wednesday into early Thursday morning. So here's your planning forecast just to get your day going for today. Scattered rain is going to continue, and I am forecasting a 70% coverage. We're seeing it right now, 70% coverage across central Florida. Now the rain, the cloud cover, it is going to keep our temperatures in the lower 80s today. So again, get those preps done if you haven't done them already. And your clouds and rain forecast. So this is our in-house modeling. We'll continue to see widespread light to moderate rain, pockets heavy rain in a few locations. Light rain will persist into this evening, so it's going to be a pretty soggy day for many of us. It'll continue to be heavy in a few locations, and then we get a little bit of a break during the overnight hours for some of us. Plenty of clouds, and then as we kick off our Monday morning, you're getting your kids ready for school, you're getting yourself ready for work. It is going to be dry for some of us. A few showers, a few thunderstorms could potentially pop up early Monday morning. So you just want to make sure the kids have their rain gear ready to go. It's certainly going to be rainy on the way home from school. So you want to make sure they have their umbrella, their raincoat, whatever they need, their boots, just in case, they get a downpour in their area. And then fast forwarding things into Monday afternoon, we will see another round of showers and a few thunderstorms moving through. So here's the GFS. This is on Milton. The GFS is showing it strengthening through the central Gulf of Mexico. Plenty of moisture packed in within this storm. As we head into Tuesday, that's when we'll begin to see our weather deteriorate. We're looking at those outer rain bands moving in, and then Wednesday morning, it's getting close. Early Wednesday afternoon, it's making landfall close to the Tampa Bay area, and it'll continue its path across central Florida, bringing heavy rain and gusty winds. We're still dealing with heavy rain as we head into early Thursday morning. And then we have that front move through, and that is going to clear everything out Thursday afternoon into Friday, and it'll still be breezy. As we look at the Euro here, now we're at Tuesday afternoon, looking at some rain moving in. The Euro is showing more rain for many locations across our region. We're at early Thursday morning, and this particular model still showing that heavy rain still falling across central Florida. So here's your 7-day forecast. If you're now tuning in, I'm just reading some comments here. Let's see what are the odds. Okay. Hey, Thomas Brown, thank you so much for joining in. What's the odds of Ocala getting hit? Well, as of right now, we are looking at the strongest portion of this system to hit our coastal areas on the western side. When it comes on land, it's going to begin to weaken. But we're still looking at Category 1 to 2 hurricane force winds. Ocala, you could potentially be dealing with winds between 74 to 100 miles per hour, and that is damaging. It can certainly blow things around, and we're looking at that heavy tropical downpours. So that can also cause some flooding in your area, and I wouldn't be surprised if a tornado watch is issued for all of our counties across central Florida, because as I mentioned earlier during this stream, there will be a lot of spinning happening in the atmosphere, and that usually happens with tropical systems. When they approach land, there's so much spinning, you could get a brief tornado touchdown, but usually they're brief. They're not long-lived, and they're usually weak. So I would say EF1 or EF0, but that can still cause some damage. So that's for Ocala. Let's see here. Carbon fiber, when will the first watches and warnings be issued? They could be issued as early as today. We're keeping an eye on things. The latest information that I read, they could potentially be issuing those warnings and watches. I would say watches first, and then probably warnings either Monday or Tuesday, but we can certainly have some watches issued to our area later on today. Alrighty, let's see here. Oh, this is a great question. LFX, the world, how saturated is the grounds? We've been having some flooding in places. We won't think we may have the you know what, that's a really good point that you bring up. We've been getting a lot of rain across central Florida. The ground is super saturated. A lot of areas cannot hold any more water. So on top of the rain that we're getting today and also tomorrow, and then on top of the tropical rain that we're expecting Tuesday, Wednesday, and potentially lasting into Thursday, many of us could be dealing with significant flooding. That's why it's so important that you clear out your gutters, clear out your storm drains today, because things will continue to get worse as we go through the next several days. Alrighty, let's see here. Alrighty, Stick Season 90. Hi, thank you so much for joining. Is Christmas or Bithlo going to be okay? Everybody, yes, I think you will be okay, but you'll have to prepare for, I always say, prepare for the worst and hope for the best, because things can change very, very quickly. And we saw that with Helene. Helene rapidly intensified into a Category 4 hurricane right before landfall. And that is not out of the question. That's certainly a scenario. The water's super warm. There's weak wind shear. So all of these factors play, but we'll have to see how quick this frontal boundary moves in and how the system interacts with this, how the cold front interacts with Milton. I will say Milton is a much smaller storm than Helene. And I know a lot of us were comparing Milton to Helene because Helene is very fresh in our minds. But Helene was a massive storm. The width of that storm was 345 miles wide. 345 miles wide. Last checked, I did measure Milton. It's about 210 miles. So it's a smaller storm, but of course it can definitely cause significant impacts, but they're very different storms. Every storm is different. Every storm brings different impacts. So for the Christmas area, I would definitely make sure you have your preps in place. Be prepared for strong winds. Make sure you're bringing everything inside. And again, be prepared for those tropical downpours. let's see here. Hi, Allison Taylor. Do you think that Popka will be okay and Winter Garden? I do think you'll be okay, but again, those strong winds could cause some damage in your area, especially if that center goes straight over Orlando. We'll be pretty close to that eye wall. It all depends on where the center of this system will go. The eye wall contains the strongest winds, and especially if you're on the northeastern quadrant, the northeastern side of the storm, that's where the potential for tornadoes will be. So we'll have to see the placement of the center, but I would definitely prepare for strong winds between 74 to 110 miles per hour and heavy rain, and then again, isolated tornadoes. Hi, Christopher Morrison. My family and I live in Leesburg. Are we going to get severe hurricane winds and possible power outages? I would certainly plan for it. I do think many of us will be without power for a little bit, especially if this system strengthens more than what is forecasted. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting a Category 3 storm with potential winds of 125 miles per hour. That's only 5 miles an hour winds away from a Category 4 hurricane. So Category 4 hurricane winds to 130 miles per hour. So when it's inland, we're looking at hurricane force winds spreading from the center, and you can certainly see hurricane force winds between 74 to 105, potentially 110 miles per hour. So I would definitely bring in things. If you have patio furniture, outside, bring them inside. Anchor anything that needs to be anchored. Clean your storm drains and also your gutters. That is super helpful, not only for you, but also for your neighbors. That minimizes flooding in your area. So try and get that done today. Let's see here. Will Orlando have power outages? It's possible. If the winds are strong enough, we could see power outages across the metro area. My family lives in Auburndale. Hey, LaQuisha, by Lake Alfred. Will they be okay? Yes, they'll be okay. But we are looking at strong winds across Central Florida. We need to prepare for that, and we need to prepare for the heavy rain as well. Once you have all your preparations in place, just make sure that you are prepared for, the power going out. It could be brief. It could be for a day or two or even longer than that. Again, it all depends on where you live. So let's see here. Alrighty, everybody. So again, we need to make sure that we have everything in place. We always tell you all the time that these type of storms can evolve quickly. The forecast can evolve quickly. The atmosphere is prime for this thing to rapidly intensify. And the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, they do show that it is going to intensify into a hurricane later on today. And we are looking at significant impacts across Central Florida. So we're here for you. We're here to prepare you. The latest information, as soon as the information, we know it, we make sure that you know what's going on. If you don't have our app, now it's a great time to download it. Make sure you have your notifications on, like the Pinpoint Weather app, the Hurricane Pinpoint app, and also the News 6 Plus app. All of these apps, we always update all of the information. So as soon as we know, you know. So I'll leave you here with your 7-day forecast. We are looking at a 70% chance for rain, already seeing it across Central Florida, 83 degrees. As we head into tomorrow, rain chances are still fairly high. We'll see a few breaks. So if you don't get your preps done today, you still have tomorrow. But tomorrow, really, you're kind of pushing it. So make sure you get everything done today. We're looking at lower 80s on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we'll begin to see tropical downpours. That will be associated with Milton. We're looking at rain chances at 80%, and winds will begin to pick up. And also, if you don't need to be on the roads, try and stay home. We'll have a lot of officials out there trying to check on people, trying to help people. So if you don't need to be out on the road, stay home, stay safe, make sure you prepare your home. And then as we head into Wednesday is the projected main event where Milton is expected to make landfall somewhere along the west coast of Florida and still holding on to its hurricane strength, potentially Cat 1 or Cat 2 as it moves across Central Florida. We're looking at rain chances fairly high at 90% and then with a high of 92. And those tropical conditions may extend into early Thursday morning. So this is a slow moving storm. Many of us are going to pick up a lot of rain in a short period of time. So make sure you're prepared for that. Sandbags, if you don't have them, get them. There are plenty of places that are giving out sandbags for free. And we have all of that information on our webpage on clickorlando.com. And then as we head into Thursday, we'll begin to slowly see things improve. It'll still be windy. 50% chance for showers and storms early in the morning. Things clearing out Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Friday, that front should completely move through the area, pushing Milton out of Florida and helping us dry out. And you know, if there's any damage or anything like that, giving us an opportunity to do what we need to do as a community. And then on Saturday, next weekend, looking great. Feeling like fall finally. It won't be as humid. We'll have some dry air moving from the north, and temperatures will be in the lower 80s with a few showers around. So I see a few folks here that are asking, should we close our business on Wednesday? You know what? I would definitely continue to pay attention to the forecast, but I will tell you this. Wednesday will be the worst of the weather across Central Florida. So I'll leave that up to you to make that decision, but Wednesday will be the worst of the weather across Central Florida. Again, let's see here. I'll answer a few more questions. I live on the mainland but work in the Cape. When will it no longer be safe to cross the causeways? Oh, that's a really good question, Charles. I would not cross the causeway at all Wednesday into Thursday morning. It'll be way too windy. I wouldn't be surprised if they close it. So just keep that in mind as we move things forward. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all stay safe. Of course, we'll have another update. Meteorologist Samira Kokinos, she will be in later on today with the next update. The next track comes out at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll continue to get the latest information and what to expect as we go through the next couple of days or so. So again, I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Thank you so much for joining me on clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and the News 6 Hurricane app. You all take care.